Good morning, guys, from Zurich in Switzerland, one of the big cities in this small mountainous country in the middle of Europe. We arrived yesterday evening from Norway. We had a short transit in Sweden, and then now we are in Switzerland. It took approximately 3 hours with flight if you did fly directly from Norway. So it's pretty short distance in Europe in general. Now we are in the financial capital of Europe, practically Switzerland in itself. So did you know that actually Switzerland doesn't have an official capital, but they rather have big cities that operates as its own capital. So the biggest cities in Switzerland are like Zurich, where we are now, Basel, Bern, Lucerne, Geneva. All these are very famous for its metropole as banking haven for international people and international companies. So we are practically in the middle of the city center of Zurich. I'm going to show you guys more the top places that you have to see when you visit Zurich. So we're gonna stay in Switzerland for approximately 5 days, and we have plans to travel a bit around the country, but mainly based in Zurich. So just hang along and let's enjoy Switzerland together. So we are practically just wandering around in Zurich, and one thing you will notice the moment you enter Switzerland is that it's a very expensive country. For instance, we went to Starbucks earlier today just to have a simple breakfast. So the price of our breakfast was 21.5 Swiss franc, which is approximately the same as in euro, 21.5 euro. What we bought was a venti size cafe latte, which is the biggest size, and it costed 7.7 euro, and 2 sandwiches, which was in itself filled with quite a lot of stuff. But this price here practically explains the value of each price in Switzerland. So one recommendation when you travel to Switzerland is to bring a lot of cash, because you will definitely use it. Just simple dinner or simple lunches, you can spend quite much more than you would in Central Europe. I'm Norwegian myself, and Norwegian price is pretty expensive as well. So I'm kind of a little bit prepared for it. But I think personally that Switzerland is even worse than Norway, at least what I've seen so far. But if you compare supermarkets in Switzerland and Norway, it's better here in Switzerland. For instance, they have a lot of international brands here, like Lidl and Aldi, both German brands, famous for its price and variety of selections. We visited Aldi in Switzerland, and it was quite a decent price when we bought the stuff we bought, like simple drinks and so. So supermarket price in Switzerland are much better than in Norway. But when you visit restaurants and cafes like this or bakeries, it can be a bit more expensive than what you are used to from before. No matter where you come from, it's gonna be quite expensive. So just be prepared for that. Alright, so we are pretty much in the city center of Zurich now, and from this spot here by the harbor you can actually see the Alps in the very far distance. The Alps is one of the biggest mountainous chains in Europe, so except for Elbrus in Georgia, you have the biggest mountains in the Alps. One of the things that Switzerland is famous for is going on this ski resort trip to the Alps. So many tourists travel to Switzerland just to visit the Alps. We're gonna explore more of Switzerland eventually, so I'm not gonna talk too much about the Alps while we are in Zurich, but just to be aware that you can actually see the Alps from Zurich, and it's a pretty cool view from the coast side that you see alongside this region here. Another famous thing with Switzerland is all these brands that you see here. Switzerland has quite a big industry in making a lot of stuff that they export abroad, like clocks. They have this metal industry, electronics. You have these water bottles. So they export a lot of this abroad, and it's one of the industries that they actually live off here and earn money on. So it's not only the banking, but also this industry here. And in addition to that, you have tourism as well, jewelry, you name it.